Okay, so one of the big questions I get all the time is, what is my grade in this class, and what grade do I need to make in order to pass? These are questions that will be helpful for you, that you'll be asking throughout your college career. So let's understand how you can calculate it, because when you get to college, the professor is going to be like, figure it out. They're not going to tell you what grade you need to graduate. So what I want to talk about today is the difference between an average and a weighted average. So most folks here know what an average is. An average is just x1 plus x2 plus x3 divided by 3. Right? So you take the sum of numbers and divide it by the total number of numbers. So by way of example, if somebody made an 80, a 70, and a 50, and we asked what is the average, we would just say, okay, 80 plus 70 plus 50, all divided by 3. We'd add up the top. 80 plus 70 is 150, plus 50 is 200. We would say 200 divided by 3, and we'd say this person's average is a 66.6 repeater. This is how you do a basic average. There was a parent who called me last week and said, my kid is doing, they're doing well on homeworks and they're doing bad on tests, but why is their average so low? If we just add them up and divide by 2, the average should be higher. Here's the insight here, folks. Very, 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 very rarely will any class just use a simple average to calculate the grade. Most classes use what I'll call a weighted average. A weighted average is simply an average where certain terms are given more weight than others. So, certain terms given more weight than others. What do we mean by that? Well, let's take this exact same example. The person got an 80, a 70, and a 50. Maybe the 80 was on the homework, the 70 was also on a homework, and the 50 was on a test. So we don't want the homework and the test to be equal. The test covers more material. It should be counting as a greater percentage of your grade. So we do the following. We would say, well, instead of calculating the average as just 80 plus 70 plus 50, we would do something like 80 plus 70 plus 50 plus 50. So I double the 50. In other words, I'm weighting it twice, 2 times as much as these. And then I would divide not by 3, but now by 4, because the 50 counted twice. This is 1 and 1, so total of 4. And I would get 100 plus 150 is 250 divided by 4, which is equal to 62.5. So notice the average is lower than before. Why is the average lower? Because this test, which this student got a lower grade on, is worth more in the grade book. Are there any questions on weighted average versus simple average? Lucio.
Couldn't you also just like multiply the test by the percentage and by the homework value?
Yeah. I mean, this does not apply to the class yet. We'll get there, but yes, yeah, that's right. That's right. So this is a general example. Any questions on the difference between average and weighted average? Okay, so how does this apply to this class? Let's pause this. We'll come over to this board.